My name is Winter Grace Baylor. I completed my field experience at Andrews Elementary in Georgetown County. My field experience was a series of Canva professional developments. All of the evaluation, planning, and implementation took place at AES. The purpose of my field experience was to provide Canva professional development for teachers and to improve their efficacy, consistency, and creativity in teacher-made instructional resources. I also really wanted to focus on increasing teacher confidence. We have a lot of amazing teachers at Andrews Elementary who wanted to use Canva, but they just didn't know where to start, or they just needed a help to get there. I also wanted to strengthen the school branding and create a more unified look for our school when we're making school-wide posters, as well as just increase the quality of our created resources at Andrews Elementary. This project was interesting to me because it combined a natural passion of mine of digital design with my love of instructional technology. It was like two of my favorite things meeting in the middle and getting to bridge them. It was also interesting to me because I had teachers in the past reach out for Canva help, because that was something that I was known for at my school, was helping with Canva. And so being able to provide a quality professional development for teachers excited me. It also gave me an opportunity to support my colleagues in a practical way. I was able to leave from where I was and make an impact directly on the people around me. I collaborated with my principal, Dana Fusco, and my curriculum coach, Kate Owens. We talked a lot about teacher needs, time constraints, and what this would look like at our school. There was a lot of conversations that started this process. A lot of these conversations were informal, some were formal. I talked with teachers, I talked with grade level leaders, Ms. Fusco, the assistant principals, curriculum coach, and even the technology coach for Georgetown County School District. I completed a needs analysis. I sent a digital survey to all the staff and teachers of Andrews Elementary to complete. I analyzed the data myself, and I looked for patterns such as how many teachers needed support and in what area. This helped me identify what the skill gaps were and where people wanted to have help at. It helped me build meaningful sessions that teachers could take something away from. I followed the ADDIE workflow. I analyzed the teacher needs, I designed sessions, structure, and the content for all the sessions. I developed slides, tutorials, handouts, examples, templates. I implemented hands-on PD sessions, and I evaluated the results based on the feedback that I received. With adult learners, I wanted to keep in mind that this is sometimes can be different than when I'm teaching my third graders. So I used a lot of the adult learning principles, and I made everything that was practical and meaningful so that teachers were able to immediately apply what they had learned in each session and go back and create something for their classroom they could use the next day. I also made sure to make my sessions as hands-on so that it wasn't all me sitting there talking, but it was them, the teachers and the staff members, getting to join and getting to actually create materials in real time with me. I chunked a lot of the content to avoid cognitive overload and applied Mayer's multimedia principles in the slide designs and the modeling that I did. I sat down with my supervisor and had a conversation about what success would look like. We decided that success would be defined as teachers having an increased confidence using Canva, an increased use of teachers using Canva for instructional resources, high quality resources that supported student engagement, and teacher feedback was a big part of how we define success and seeing how they felt, if it was useful and if it was relevant to their teaching. I evaluated these sessions by doing exit tickets or quick surveys at the end. A lot of it was done through informal observations of watching teachers throughout the sessions and seeing how their demeanor was. I also evaluated these strategies through monitoring the resources that teachers were creating. So there was a lot of teachers who were super excited to be creating, and they would share different templates that they had created or different resources they made for their classroom. So I was able to keep them and show them in my blog and in my portfolio. I had several teachers come up to me after sessions and ask if they could, when could we meet next, if we could do a one-on-one. There were so many teachers who walked out of the sessions with a smile on their face, and I think that was also how I knew is they were excited to use the tool that I had just helped them understand. I managed this project by creating a timeline and a workflow for the sessions. I coordinated with my administrator and my supervisors to create scheduling and decide when would be the best time. I built all the materials prior to the sessions. I documented all the hours, decisions, and outcomes of each session on my field experience blog, communication with my supervisor throughout in order to keep track of how things were going with her. When we first started in the early planning phases, we were meeting once a week, and then it went up to once every other week. If there was anything I could do differently with my field experience, the number one thing would be to have more baseline data going into it before I started. I also would like to have had more grade level specific, but it was just me, one person with the whole school, and I do teach at a fairly large elementary school for our area, so it just wasn't feasible for me to be able to have an example for everyone. I also wish there was more support for some of the teachers who needed more basic knowledge of technology. My hope is that my work doesn't stop here and that it continues. At AES, we've already started having a shared template folder so teachers can share resources with each other. We also started using more consistency with our fonts, colors, and branding that creates a more cohesive look throughout whenever we're creating school-wide materials or flyers. My dream would be to offer micro trainings almost. And so let's say if you want to do something specific, this is what I need help with, rather than an overall, this is the area we're covering today. I would also love to go into more content specific resources. So let's focus on how we can use this in the science classroom. How can we use this for parent communication? My biggest takeaway from this field experience is that leadership is not a title. It's about stepping up when you see a need. I was able to collaborate with admin and strengthen the outcome of teacher-created resources. I analyzed data and made data-driven decisions with what to offer next, and I was able to lead from where I was. I made an impact from where I was. Another big takeaway was that supporting adult learners takes a lot of support and flexibility, empathy, and clarity. Working around other people's schedules, especially adults who are just as busy as I am, was a bit challenging with the scheduling part, but how much goes into the professional developments that I've attended in the past as a participant rather than a facilitator. Another huge takeaway I have from this field experience is that project management is a huge piece of technology leadership. It's not just a side skill, it's something that has to be prioritized and something that needs to be done well. This field experience was one of the best field experiences that I've had. It has impacted me and created a purpose in me that for a while there I didn't know if it was still there. It helped me see that this is my passion, this is what I love to do, and overall has been one of the best things I've ever done for myself. I enjoyed the field experience very much. I was able to lead from where I was, able to make an impact right from where I was as well.